Looks to me that Pedro and his sister Nicole have a few things to say regarding Karen. But of course, we know that when Chantel was with Pedro, a lot of the time Karen made their life hell, amongst obviously his own family also making their life hell. Honestly, the whole thing was just nothing but a calamity from the beginning. And to be fair, we can argue and say Chantel was the problem to begin with because she's the one that started off by lying to her parents. But, well, to her family, shall I say. Now, with that being said, Nicole came out to say, people were always blaming my family, but you can now see that we were never the problem. Her mom doesn't want to see Chantel happy, no matter if it's with a woman or a man. Now, bear in mind, this here stems from the preview that is shown of what's to come in the next episode of 90 Day Fiance, A Hunt for Love Tell All, where we see Karen pretty much go at it with Chantel's current partner, Ashley. So I can see, obviously, they're definitely here chiming in with their own opinions on the matter itself in particular. But let's get into the next screenshot. Because like I said, it's both Pedro and his sister who have a lot to say. In this one itself in particular, Nicole continues by saying, I don't need you guys to remind me that I had a lot of problems with Chantel in the past. I know that at some point I was really immature, but people can change, and I did. So I'm not saying anything bad about Chantel. On the contrary, if she is happy and at peace now with that girl, I can only wish them blessings. So of course, I think this pretty much is her repeating the fact that the issue is Karen. The issue wasn't necessarily always Chantel, or to be fair, it may have never been Chantel to her. It was just the fact that her mom always got involved and Chantel never had any boundaries when it came to her family. But then we could argue that Pedro never had any boundaries when it came to his family. But nonetheless, though, it's good to hear that Nicole believes that she has now changed and she's no longer the same immature girl that she was on the show. Now, of course, we don't know that for 100 because obviously we haven't seen her in a minute, but I guess we've got to take her word for what it is. So this is obviously what Nicole had to say, but Pedro, on the other hand, what did he have to say? Well, he was actually the first one out of the two to come out to show a little bit of shade, which is something that he has done, to be fair, throughout this season, The Hunt for Love. You know what I mean? He has thrown some shade towards Chantel, but in this one, it seems to me as if he's now throwing some shade towards Karen. So he starts off obviously here where he says, and I was the problem? Only time tells. And then he obviously goes on and says, fake written all over you. But this is actually a lyric from a song that he's obviously playing at the time. But either way, though, it is him pretty much saying himself in particular. But this wasn't the only line that was said. It also said, hater written all over you. So of course, I would imagine this is him pretty much saying that Karen is nothing but fake and also nothing but a hater. So really and truly, obviously, when Pedro and his sister both come out to obviously have an opinion, they're both obviously clearly targeting Karen. Now, I will say this, despite the fact that Nicole says that she's now, well, she didn't say that she's mature, but she kind of said that she's mature now and she's not that person anymore. Well, here's the thing though, if you are now mature and you've now moved on, then realistically, you wouldn't even say anything. The fact that Pedro and his sister still feel the need to have to say something and feel the need to still have to, butt their business into Chantel's business or Karen's business still says that clearly they are still living that sour taste in their mouth. And for some reason, they just can't move on without saying nothing. You know what I mean? Really and truly, really and truly, Pedro should be saying nothing, and at the same time, Nicole should be saying nothing. Now, of course, I understand the difficulties that they went through. Obviously, when her brother was obviously married to Chantel, and obviously how Chantel's family was, I can imagine. But at the end of the day, just because the mum has always been that way, it doesn't mean that you have to scoop to that level. It doesn't mean you always have to have a say each time Chantel or her mother or any of the siblings or any of the family members do something that obviously gives them a reason to say, see guys, I told you so, we were never the problem. I mean, it really exposes how you're still pretty much immature yourself in particular, because people that are mature will just be like, listen, I've moved on, I'm enjoying my life, they're going to do what they're going to do, and I ain't going to say nothing because it's got nothing to do with me, and I'm happy that it is behind me and not currently still with me. So the fact that they are still bringing Chantel's family, the past, to their present life, it's quite sad if you ask me. But nonetheless though, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.